So that UFC 229 press conference was something, eh? As many of us figured, we're going to be talking about that right up until the big night. There were more than a few juicy nuggets in that one. Plenty of talking points and controversy to go around, to say the least. If you missed it, check out the recap show I did with Canadian filmmaker Patrick Condon on the MMA Latest YouTube page. I have many takeaways from that presser, being almost a week removed from it now. But one thing that really sticks out, at the moment at least, is the fact that world tours are not necessary for promotion. 1 or 2 McGregor appearances before a fight gives fans and media enough material to get excited about for weeks to come. The next UFC card is UFC 229, so at this point, and likely for a while after October 6th, the MMA world is going to center around McGregor. And it's exciting to have him back and to be in this next chapter before he likely removes himself from the picture for a while once again. Over the past couple of years in McGregor's absence, the lightweight division simply moved on, and other faces have emerged as the frontrunners of the most richly talented division in this sport. MMA moves so fast, and the landscape changes on such a whim, it's hard to believe that on the night of UFC 229 is going to mark 1 year to the date that Tony Ferguson rose above the rest to win the interim lightweight championship. In a fight that he was actually supposed to take on current lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov, Ferguson went in there and took on late replacement Kevin Lee and took home the gold with a 3rd round triangle choke submission. It was a really exciting fight with plenty of drama leading up to it, and Ferguson came away from that one being the talk of the town. A lot of the narrative after that win was the next big fight to make is Ferguson versus McGregor. It was a short period of time, but a period of time nonetheless in which the spotlight was on El Cucuy. And now, exactly 1 year later, it's almost as if nobody has any idea he's even fighting in the co-main event of the biggest fight in UFC history. And against former lightweight champion Anthony Pettis, of all people. A matchup that is certain to give us fans what we're all here for: excitement. But I suppose that's one unfortunate thing about fighting on a McGregor card. You may be on an event that has more eyes on it than anything you could possibly fight on, but pretty much all the attention given out is absorbed by McGregor. And that's just the way it is. But this fight, being a sleeper, has all the makings for being something that adds a whole lot of intrigue to this event, and seemingly out of nowhere. Anthony Pettis and Tony Ferguson are two of some of the most highly skilled fighters this promotion has to offer. Before Ferguson's last injury, a lot of the fan base thought he was the guy to hand Khabib his first loss, myself included. Anthony Pettis is a former lightweight champion who has had a couple missteps over the years, but he's now coming off of one of his most impressive performances to date. Really starting to look like the Showtime of old, Pettis scored a big win over Michael Chiesa that gave him a much-needed boost. Pettis is coming in with the confidence at an all-time high. He's one of the most technical fighters in the game, both on the feet and on the ground. A true elite-level mixed martial artist. Some of the most pristine striking you'll ever see in MMA comes from Pettis. An amazingly strong kicking game. His perfect technique and wicked accuracy often sees him change fights with a single strike. His kicks to the body are probably some of the most frightening. Tony Ferguson's last fight was one in which he won the UFC interim lightweight title. Ferg is one of the most unconventional fighters inside the cage and outside the cage. He carries big power in his hands and is also quite accurate himself. When it comes to boxing, he does a really good job of finding those holes and launching his fists straight through them. Never mind the fact that he's a 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu guy with the pioneer Eddie Bravo in his corner. The rolls, the entries, and the attacks Ferguson throws out of nowhere is really impressive and really fun to watch. He is a huge offensive threat on the ground, whether he's on top or on his back. So this fight is really something to look forward to. And despite the fact that this is the McGregor card, I'm still kind of surprised to see that this fight essentially hasn't even been addressed yet, much less examined. But the really insane thing about the fact that Ferguson versus Pettis is on this card is that at the drop of the hat, either one of those guys could get thrust in that title fight on a day's notice. And we all know it. Actually, if anything, we should probably be preparing ourselves for it. These days, it seems like more often than not, at the 11th hour, we have someone miss weight, get injured, or what have you. I really, really don't want to jinx it. I want nothing more than for McGregor and Khabib to finally get locked in that cage together come October 6th. But you always have to be ready for the possibility that we could be seeing McGregor versus Ferguson, McGregor versus Pettis, or Khabib versus either Ferguson or Pettis next week. So get ready. UFC 229 goes down October 6th, live from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada.